So, hello everyone. For those who don't know me, I'll introduce myself. I'm a person with unblocked abilities from childhood. I have a deep empathy, as well as a unique gift of seeing the subtle plane, which allows me to read information about the past and the future, and to perceive insights about people and events that ordinary people can't usually see. Usually, this sort of thing is called clairvoyance or psychic ability, but I don't personally see it that way, because in fact almost all people have such gifts. They're just blocked. On my channel, I do what I can to help you rediscover your own abilities and break all those blocks that keep you from regaining your inner power. Today, we'll be discussing a topic that can help free you from the chains placed upon you from the outside, and this topic is undoubtedly very important. I think it's crucial for every person to recognize it, to hear it, to feel it, and to let it pass through them, and afterward to make certain decisions and conclusions about how to proceed, how to see, and how to perceive things going forward. Unfortunately, this topic relates to one of those blocks that prevent us from returning to ourselves. Our abilities are inner strength, and it restricts people much more than they realize. Moreover, it's presented to us in such a way that we're told it helps us or gives us something good, when in reality, people have no idea how dangerous it can be. Not only does it tie our hands and feet, but as you'll learn by the end of this video, I'll share a story from my own practice in which someone nearly lost his life because of it. So, not to keep you in suspense any longer, today we'll be talking about the stars. No, not the kind that sing on stage or star in TV series or movies. We're talking about the stars we see in the night sky, and more specifically the so-called science associated with these stars. Unfortunately, I don't mean astronomy. We're going to discuss a very strong constraint on our consciousness, our subconscious, even our unconscious, something that instills a deep sense of learned helplessness. It's called astrology. Today, I want to share the perspective on astrology, how I viewed it all my life, and also discuss some of the techniques I knew from childhood regarding fate, life, and whether it's really possible to change one's destiny. Is it so linear? Is it so predictable? Can something truly influence it from the outside? Or is there only one factor that really has an impact? People who have been following me for a long time, those who watch my channel or have taken my courses on shutting down energy vampires and shaping your own reality, might be thinking, hey, we already know all of this, that we've watched your channel for ages. Why bring it up again? What prompted me to make this video? Interestingly enough, is the situation I mentioned in my Telegram. Those of you who are subscribed as Ancient Souls probably understand what I'm talking about, so I decided to record this video to clarify everything, place all the details in one place, and give you my complete view on the stars, astrology, and so on. First, let's start with the fact that, even as a child, I realized that destiny is a very non-linear concept. Furthermore, when we're born here, we're first and foremost a soul that has entered this world. That soul takes on a difficult path, a kind of mission, and I've often spoken about that. But once the soul arrives, it faces the matrix system operating here. A system I've described in separate videos and in an entire playlist on my channel. There, I explain what the matrix is, what the Kabbalistic matrix is, and how it tries to force every soul onto a kind of wheel of samsara, putting everyone through these huge millstones so they can't fulfill their own mission or fully awaken. This is why many of our abilities end up blocked from childhood on, and no, it's not normal as some might think. It's done purposefully by these matrix structures, which benefit from harvesting our energy. They do it through certain people, or, more precisely, through the system that harnesses humanity's energy. We call it Kagregorio when we talk about large energetic entities that feed on people. I plan to make a separate video about that, because it's a complicated topic. You have to be able to recognize these energy vampires before you can resist them. So how does this relate to the stars and such? Well, I see it as one of the millstones we're put through, another form of learned helplessness instilled in us from childhood. This idea that we can't really do anything, that everything is preordained, that our entire fate is set at birth, and so on. Some astrologer might argue, no, astrology is non-linear. It just gives you certain directions or possibilities. But I fully disagree. It imposes specific labels and characteristics on us, claims we ought to have certain personality traits or certain outcomes. It's a big template forced upon us, under the pretense that the stars know which soul is coming and when, but conveniently, they never mention the massive interference the system exerts so that babies are often born when the matrix wants it. So to say astrology helps us in this sense, I don't think so. As a child, since my abilities have been open my whole life, having astral travel since a young age, practicing controlled astral flight now as an adult, reading subtle bodies and so on, I've long understood that not only is my fate non-linear, but I have a multitude of paths to choose from. In other videos, I've mentioned all timelines, or time outlines, the branching pathways we can step onto in life. Yes, I've said we come into this world with about 30% of our blueprints somewhat set and to prevent the matrix from completely derailing rules, while the remaining 72% is open to the creative impulse of free will. That means a person can drastically rewrite their timeline at almost any point. You're the creator of your reality. Even if you arrived with some outline, you can always reject it or choose a different path, because this universe holds the law of free will as supreme. Many esoteric teachings acknowledge free will as well. Some might say, but hey, they violate our will here every day. I get it, but the trick is that they do it so cleverly, by co-opting our own subconscious, that we fail to notice how we're tacitly consenting. Recently in the Sunny Club, we discussed consent vs non-consent, and how learned helplessness is instilled in us. Astrology, by pushing the idea that your fate is decided, that you'll have a certain personality, certain relationships, certain outcomes, all based on star positions, encourages that same helplessness. You start believing there's an external structure that dictates your life, so your subconscious reasons, why bother trying to change anything? When a person internalizes that message, they end up not setting personal boundaries, or they remove the ones they naturally had, leaving themselves wide open to energy parasites and vampirism. I see these parasites literally with my own eyes. My astral vision and physical vision sync, so I perceive these entities feeding off people. I never accepted them as normal. Even as a teen, I was angry, asking, why is this allowed? Why isn't there a protective barrier for humanity? Because it shouldn't be normal, yet we keep getting taught that it is, that we can't do anything about our lives, that fate is unchangeable, that our star sign controls our personality, our career, our relationships, everything. That's precisely how our boundaries are destroyed. Meanwhile, if we maintain or rebuild those natural boundaries, we stop letting in these energy parasites. Personally, I'm a mother of 3 small children. My oldest is 8 and my youngest just turned 2, and I run a YouTube channel, courses, a club, a Boosty page. I do weekly 2-hour live streams, and people ask, how on earth do you manage all this? Where do you get the energy? The answer, I removed energy parasites and restored my personal boundaries. Once we fix our natural defenses, which I describe as personal boundaries, more than just a psychological concept but an energetic one, many of us can accomplish what 10 people together might not manage. From my perspective, that restoration means saying no to everything that promotes learned helplessness, including the idea that some star chart dictates your life path. Personally, I'm strongly against astrology, strongly against natal charts, which is why I sometimes jokingly say stuff like Cancer Mars is in Capricorn when referring to astrology. I've met people who delved into it, even one friend who used to create natal charts, and she admitted it was nonsense. If you try generating charts on 10 different websites, you'll get 10 different results. You can even get a different result if you redo the same chart on the same site 2 years later. For fortune telling with tea leaves might be more accurate. Plus, from a psychological viewpoint, science has shown that if you give someone a random chart, they can usually identify with it, because it's all about broad generalizations that anyone can read and say, "Oh, that's me." That's how they start programming you. From the perspective of extrasensory perception, I see it as learned helplessness. Here's your single timeline. So accept that your life must unfold this way. But I've seen over and over that there are countless timelines available. A vivid example is a young man who came to me about 10 years ago. Multiple fortune tellers and astrologers told him he'd die at age 21. He was 20 when we met. Just 2 months before his birthday. Initially, I brushed it off as nonsense, but I looked at his timeline, and indeed all roads led to that point. Still, he didn't want to die, so we went deeper into his subconscious, his soul, his past lives, and discovered he had the free will choice to avoid that outcome. The scenario involved getting a call on his birthday, going out to celebrate, and having a deadly car accident. When his birthday arrived, he got that exact call. He could have gone, but he remembered everything we'd seen, so he made a different choice. He stayed home playing computer games. That single decision changed his entire fate. He didn't die at 21. Instead, he changed jobs, moved out of his parents' home, and started a brand new life. So you see, everything shifted because he switched timelines. He exercised free will. That's the technique I've always known. Even from childhood, you can stand at the edge of one timeline and leap to another. You create your own reality by choosing differently. It never had anything to do with Cancer in Capricorn or astrology. So that's everything for today. Take care of yourselves. Protect yourselves from any techniques or practices that push you into learned helplessness. Let your own power awaken within you. Reclaim your strength and abilities. I love you all. Hugs from me, Harn, and remember, each of you can help more people wake up and recognize these chains placed upon them. Just like this video, leave a comment and help it reach the recommended lists so that others can decide for themselves whether they need it or not. Undoubtedly, that will let many take their first step toward awakening, and everything afterward depends on them alone. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share my channel. Become a member of my Telegram channel and discuss with like-minded people as a supporting club member.